So I wasn't really sure what to call this video, but imagine this scenario. You're working in Japan under a contract when suddenly a job posting comes up with a salary more than double what you currently make. But they want an immediate start, which means if you wanted to work there, you would have to break your current company contract to do so. So what would you do? Well, this is a very real scenario, and sometimes you will run into this while working in Japan. Heck, it happened to me just last week, which is why I decided to make a video on this. But before I get into the topic, please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me out in more ways than you know. Alright, so let's begin. Choosing whether to stay at your current company versus leaving it is a huge decision that each come with some major drawbacks, so you need to make sure you know what you are getting into before making your decision. The first thing you need to do is reread your current contract. Some contracts list in it that they can terminate your visa as punishment for breaking contract. While my current contract has no such threat, my previous company did, and they regularly used that to exploit me for more work. Now, if your current company does have this written, then it really isn't a good idea to break the contract. I do know people who were under such contracts and did manage to leave without losing their visa, so personally, I view it more as an empty threat, but I personally wouldn't challenge it. Another issue of breaking contract is you won't get the letter of recommendation for your company. This could make it much harder for you down the road. Also, if you break contract often, it'll build a negative track record and no one will want to hire you, so please do it sparingly. Next up comes the moral obligation. This comes down to the individual and the company. If the company is as bad as my last job, I would have no problem breaking contract for a position with the salary twice as high. However, I personally love my current job, I love the teachers, staff, and the kids, and the experiences that my current job provides me. The only downsides are that the pay is a bit on the low side, and during summers, you are not paid for almost 2 months since you are not working during that time. But hey, for me, it is a positive since I have those 2 months off and I can do whatever I want. When you work for a company that you do enjoy, you feel more guilty at the thought of leaving in pursuit of money. You are putting stress on the company as a whole as they have to scramble to find an emergency replacement. You are putting a lot of stress on the teachers as they now have to pick up the slack. And you are screwing the kids since they may no longer have a native teacher. And honestly, working at schools for 2 years now, literally maybe 1 in 10 teachers have a conversation level or better English. And these non-English speaking teachers try to teach English to the kids, which hurts them down the road because they're passing their flaws on. Now with that said, we need to talk about you. I know many people who do enjoy their company and choose to stay there for decades. That's good and all, but most English jobs under contract provide a little to no salary increase with the contract renewals. My company doesn't offer any boosts, so some of my friends who have been there for 15 plus years make the same salary as I did right out of college. My last job was the same way. In most situations, you do need to leave your company for a new job to get any substantial raise. Otherwise, you are going to end up making around $2,000 a month, which is not a lot after you pay the bills. If you have student loans, then it's even worse. And that salary definitely isn't going to cut it if you want to start a family. Knowing all this, what did I do when I was presented a chance to more than double my salary at $4,500 a month in exchange for breaking contract and leaving a good company? Well, I applied. And I am going through the interview process now, and if I get the position, then I am leaving. As I mentioned before in my pros and cons video, most jobs in Japan pay less than $3,000 a month, so a $4,500 position coming up is like finding a unicorn. And as I near my late 20s and build experience, it is time to move on up financially. I love my current company a lot and am fond of the teachers, but at the end of the day, you do have to look out for yourself and what will get you further in life. Nowadays, many companies will not think twice about cutting you loose, so while it is good to have company loyalty, don't let it ruin your career advancement chances. Anyways, I just needed to rant to get that off of my chest. This was a very mentally taxing decision and left me feeling extremely stressed. If you were in the same situation, what would you do? I would love to know, so please let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see more of my future content. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay hydrated. Take care.